Woo! Big up, everybody. Welcome back to TJ Warren TV. Welcome back to episode. I don't care what it says on the thumbnail. This is episode 80. I think Connor keeps trying. Connor keeps trying to correct me, and I'm like, whatever, dude. Thanks for the thumbnail. But no, this is episode 80 of the American Idiot Show, featuring, of course, Dow, my co-host with the most, and the returning champion. We have Yeti joining us, and of course, the legends in the chat. Big up, everybody, and of course, as usual.
You don't have the answers, DJ.
Do you have the answer?
You don't have the answers.
Tony, do you
don't
have the
have the answers.
You don't
TJ.
have the answer either.
You don't have the answer.
Big up, Tony. I don't have the answers. I'm not gonna lie.
I think you do. I think we all have the answers sometimes, give or take different moments in our lives. But for sure, you have some of the answers, TJ. Just like Yeti's got some of the answers, or no, maybe
you don't have the answers, Dal. You don't have the answers, Dal.
But big up Tony every single time, and congratulations, he recently got married.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
big love, congrats.
Yeah, congratulations to him. We're looking forward to welcoming him back as well. But guys, let's get down to business. Let's talk a little footy here. We are coming off of the international break, a pretty eventful international break if you follow English refereeing. Anyway, yeah, but yeah, in my opinion, this international break couldn't have come at a better time for Arsenal because we have not won a game since October 5th, Dow.
What's that? Come again?
Dow, we have not won a league game since October 5th. So, we could start with that, and we could also start with the fan base saying, and we were talking about this behind stage, but you should also talk about the majority of our fan base saying that this is going to be a walkover game against Nottingham Forest, saying that we're going to go in there and beat them 3-1, 4-1, which I believe if you're saying that, you haven't watched Nottingham Forest this season. They took down Liverpool at Anfield. They drew to Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what are we talking about? This is a completely different Nottingham Forest team than we've seen in the past, and they're building under Nuno. Like, go ahead, Dal.
I'm looking at my computer monitor, and today it says November 22nd, and you said October when?
It's October 5th was the last time we won a game, and I believe that was against Leicester City.
October 5th, and we're
what year was that?
No, that was Southampton. I'm sorry, Southampton. My fault. Southampton.
Wow. Okay, that puts things in perspective.
Yeah, we haven't won a game. We haven't won a league game in 6 weeks. For those of you counting, I can put it in whatever number denomination you want. But it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's unacceptable. And there are clips. Like Tony has been gone for a month. By the way, we have not won the entire time Tony's been gone. Tony Tony will have gone to Africa and come back, gotten married, started a life, and come back before we have won a league match.
Yeah, you know what that means, though, don't you? It means that Tony's got the answers and you haven't.
No, Tony's got the answers. Tony needs to be in Finland in order for us to get 3 points, apparently. But it is what it is. I'm just fuming at the fact that everybody, like, it seems like nobody's fed up with. Not enough people are fed up with this yet. On our side, and I don't mean to make this like totally about Arsenal out of the gate, but like I don't see any improvement or anything to be necessarily positive about. Trossard looks like he might have picked up an injury while he was on international duty. Saka picked up a knock as well. I mean, Dal, how are you feeling about it? I'm not feeling 100% confident about it.
I'm not feeling 100% confident at all. I just think that we're going to have to rely again on Gabriel and Saliba and Raya to get us out of tight situations. I mean, that's what it's come down to. It's just giving man of the match to Raya, man of the match to Gabriel, Saliba over and over again. That's for a reason. We're not giving man of the match to Saka or giving it to Havertz, Odegaard, etc. I know Odegaard's been out, but Rice, right? We're not giving man of the match. Maybe Thomas Partey's got it once since Tony Claude got married. That's a funny way to put it. But the thing is that the team's a complete shambles right now, and Arteta has no one to really blame but himself. Maybe the medical staff to a point, but Edu saw apparently some of the writing on the wall and jumped ship, as we all know, and it's left kind of Arteta out to sea a bit, I think, without a life preserver. But this is what he wanted.
Was he ever in from sea? Was he actually ever in from sea? I think he's been out to sea since he had the job, hasn't he?
Well, of course, even a better point. But the thing is that now it's like we kept saying how games were going to be a challenge, right? How PSG was going to be a challenge for him, how Chelsea was going to be a challenge for him, and last season, whatever teams we talked about were going to be challenges of his managerial career. But now he's in a real point where it's like, even if we win and the teams underneath us win, we've gone nowhere. If we lose, we go backwards, right? So like a win isn't even going to do much to chase the title, because we know Liverpool are probably going to win this season. We're the whole thing. We're going to win this weekend for sure. And we're 9 points back. It's just, we're regressing. I think we've kind of hit the apex last season, and then now it becomes the regression again. We're buying players based off Euros. Oh, Juve was after Calafiori. Oh, so we better go spend 60 mil, 55, right? I mean, it's a shit show right now, and we're grasping at straws. We're using the hope strategy that Maddie's talked about over and over again, TJ. It's just we hope that Rice performs, and now at this point we know that he's not capable of doing that right now, right? He's just not playing well at all. And we hope that Saka does something. We hope Havertz scores a goal in the back of his head or off his ass or his back heel or something as he's falling around like Bambi on ice, right? I mean, we just hope. And, I think Forest took a big look at themselves this summer and found how to play to their strengths and how to alleviate problems in the back and those weaknesses. And, it seems like Nuno's been a problem solver, right? Which is a good quality to have in a manager, right? Slots, figuring out the problems at Liverpool and has found solutions for that. Arteta hasn't. Nuno has. Again, he's a problem solver. He's identified areas within the Forest squad that needs improvement, not only just the player, but how they play, how they interact with each other, how they control the ball, how they move as a unit up the pitch. I mean, it's good football. So with that, Yeti, I mean, what do you think?
Well, like you said, I mean, he's last season we didn't concentrate at all when it came to the defending. This season, you can tell by what he's done that we're pretty much right up there as one of the best defences in the league. I think we're second or third or something like that. Because he's got Mikalenko, I might have got his name wrong again, I always do, and also Murillo as well, who are absolute quality defenders. And he's got fullbacks who know what they're doing as well. And the midfield that... everybody's like grafted to the point of what they're supposed to do throughout a game. And it's working. I mean, we're unbeaten away from home. Yeah. I mean, it's not something, it's not something to sort of like just look at. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing for me. I mean, at the end of last season, when I was asked, like, how do you think you'll get on next season? I said, like, top 12, top 15, just out of the way of the relegation stuff, so we're not got no worries in that respect. Never expected this. I'll be honest, I never expected this. I never expected Woods to be right up there with the goals, with the likes of Haaland and all that as well. I mean, I was ripping him a new one. I mean, I kept saying we might as well have bought a piece of Wood instead of a player called Wood, and look at him now, we get things wrong. I mean, that's one thing that people don't seem to understand, that, we're just YouTubers and sometimes we get things wrong. And the thing is, if we've got the balls to actually go, you know what, I got that wrong. And, and he's proved me wrong. So, and I'm glad for it. And you've got Yatesy as well, who I've always rated, always like Yatesy. He's not the most technical, gifted player on the planet, but what he gives you is just something else. 110%, he'll die in that shirt if he has to, and that's all that I expect from any of the players. And the drive that we've got now with the forward line and everything like that, it's just all clicking together. It's just awesome. I mean, I think Newcastle last week, kind of made the blueprint for us, where basically they just filled out the midfield and it was difficult for us to play the trap. What I'm hoping from you guys tomorrow is that because the best Arsenal I've seen, I'll be honest, I mean, you start using this conservative style, yeah. The best Arsenal I've seen is when you go gung-ho, because if you score against anybody in like the first 10 minutes or whatever, that'd be my biggest nightmare if you score in like the first 10 minutes. You can be unreal, but then again, we're very good at bouncing back as well, which we have done quite a few at times at the Emirates, but just not had the time to sort of finish it off. So you're in for one tomorrow, guys. You're in for one. It's going to be interesting.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And I'm not as confident as you are about my own club, Yeti, because we've taken, especially against the smaller sided teams, which we can't really call you a smaller sided teams because you got 2 stars above that tree, but we won't get into that. My whole thing
Not at all.
is that we can tend to take our foot off the gas against the smaller sided teams if we're not taking it seriously. And the defense, like our defensive structure is good at preventing goals sometimes, but if we're undisciplined, which we have been, 3 red cards in 8 games, and we tend to get ourselves in yellow card trouble before the end of the first half. Like I don't know. I don't understand how anybody can be confident given the first 11 games that we have put out there. I mean, and you look at Forest, you guys have conceded the second least goals of any team in the Premier League, second only to Liverpool. And you beat Liverpool at Anfield. So there's no.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
You forgot about that?
First time in 55 years. Absolutely. And I'm hoping I've got another scalp tomorrow as well, because if we beat you tomorrow, then that's going to be another massive celebration for me, and I won't be seen at all from Saturday night till about Tuesday morning with the biggest hangover on the planet. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I agree with Carl, especially with the form that we've been on. But just to kind of give Nottingham Forest even more of their flowers, that's going to be 3 scalps essentially. Because if you had told me at the beginning of the season that Nottingham Forest were going to get results away against Chelsea, beat Arsenal or beat Liverpool at Anfield, and then come into Arsenal and get either a draw or all 3 points, which is a very, very real possibility. I think I would have laughed at you. And you were talking about YouTubers being wrong. I was 100% wrong about Nottingham Forest. 100% wrong. They got Chris Wood humming, Hudson-Odoi humming. You know, these players that you wouldn't necessarily think, you know, that are cast-offs of these big 6 clubs that are going under Nuno and humming. And I know it's early in the season and we need to see the consistency, but you know, the results, you can only play what's in front of you, and the results are the results, and you guys are getting them. So like, especially with our form, I don't understand where this confidence comes from. We could potentially be having Trossard out. Half of the fan base is trashing Martinelli. I've been one of his biggest critics this season, but if Trossard is out, then we have no backing to him. That is not named Raheem the Dream Sterling, who I believe is absolutely finished. You know, it's not positive for me. Like unless they took a secret trip to Dubai and we didn't know about it, like it's gonna be long.
The thing too I noticed about Forest is they look like they enjoy playing together.
Yeah.
Like when you that's good. They're battling for each other. It seems like there's a real camaraderie between that team. And I want to go back to Ryan Yates. He's going to be one of the best midfielders this season. I said it in the second or third week of the season. So watch this kid. He is absolutely fantastic on the ball. He has just the right touch. He can pick a pass. He can knock players down legally without getting red cards like us. You know, he's young. He's calm. But you can see that there's an engine there. And who knows what this season is going to be like for him. And so, Yenny, my question is for you is if that kid stays healthy, do you think he would be your player of the season if you guys stay, let's say, in the top 8?
Well, it depends, because I mean you've got to look at Mikalenko, you've got to look at Chris Woods as well, because he's the one that's putting the ball in the net. So without that, you haven't got anything really. As for Ryan Yates, he's always my main guy anyway, always has been, because basically what he is in the midfield, he's just an irritating bastard. He's
Right.
one of these like instigate type of players. He'll like sort of winding up Odegaard. I mean, I've seen him wind up sort of the biggest players and get in their heads and things like that, you know. So, I mean, he's just that kind of player, and that's what I like about a player. And he's Forest through and through, and always has been. And it's nice to see him getting his opportunity and things like that. But I mean, it's too soon to say who's going to be like player of the season yet.
Oh, for sure.
But
If
you know,
he has an incredible season. I mean, you've got, like you said, you've got to put some of the credit down to him so far. Right, that's what I mean. If he just
100%.
continues this form, he's going to be,
Totally.
you know, rated as one of the youngest midfielders. He's only, I think,
yeah,
21, 22 years old, isn't he? So there's still a lot of football left in him. Maybe 23. I just think that.
All right, he's 22. It was his birthday the other day. 22.
Yeah, I think he was 21, 22. Right. I think that there's a real dynamism with him, even though he's more of the defensive side. But I just think that, again, with him staying healthy, and you can keep that core and, again, that camaraderie of players together. Again, it looks like they enjoy playing together. And and that's obviously comes from the manager, and I think it comes from like experienced players like Chris Wood. You know, Chris Wood's been in the Premier League for a while now. Isn't he like 27, 28 years old? This is what his second
Chris
or third
Wood.
Premier League
I think he's 29, isn't he? Chris Wood.
29. Okay.
Might be older than that, actually. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
His
Let me look
third
that up.
Premier League team, I think. You know, so you start to think like some of the real like no names, right? And you can consider Chris Wood a no name, of course. But it's so
Chris
great.
Wood is almost 33.
33.
Yeah, 33. Yeah, I don't know the ages. I'm not a fucking statistician.
Yeah, he's turning 33 on the 7th of December.
It's starting to look like all this time he's spent in different squads and being in the bench, off the bench, in the squad, injured, etc. You know, it's kind of been a blessing in disguise because
he's 17.
He's 17.
He must have had a long paper round, mate.
Big up, Carl. That was fucking hilarious.
No, the thing is that I guess my point is that you have an experienced player up front, and yeah, he's not the name right on the back of the shirt, but he knows where to be. He knows where to get the ball, where the ball's going to go. His anticipation is very, very good. Yes, he's not as athletic as Callum Hudson-Odoi, right? But he has that body, right? That Arsenal obviously want in Kai Havertz, right?
It's called a striker, though. It's called a striker.
Right.
Something that Arsenal fans don't know what all.
Yo, Yanni, what does that look like? I haven't seen one since 2021.
Exactly. He's a no-name, but then here he is at 32 doing a job at Forest, right? I mean, it's kind of a neat story in that. And I think that those sort of stories are inspirational to the younger players in the squad like Ryan Yates and so forth.
Yeah.
Chris Wood, and then they play with them. You guys are getting results, and that confidence carries through. I mean, look at us 2 seasons ago, or even the beginning of this year. You know, the confidence carries through, no matter the name on the shirt. It's all about the confidence, and you can see it in Villa. Just for an example, the confidence has dropped. They're dropping points. They're not as good as they were, 2 or 3 months ago. Just for an example, and you can kind of see even at Arsenal. The question's been raised before as Arteta lost the dressing room. Jesus and Odegaard in scrapping it up, I guess, the other day or last week. I think it was the other day. So I just feel like with that confidence, that's going to take you guys far, right? Until maybe some results don't go your way, but you're up the table now so far. I think even those bottom teams are terrified to play you. You look at Everton, Leicester, Palace, etc. They don't want to have to go to Forest to play. And they don't.
I think the fact is you're talking about him losing the dressing room. I think when you get to the point where you're taking in a box of lemons, I think you've actually lost the dressing room, mate. Cut this lemon out and let's show you how to get down the wing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, what is that all about? It's clueless. And to be quite honest, I'm hoping that he's going to do the same as what he normally does. Instead of actually looking at Newcastle the way they played us last week, I know that was at home, so it's different in that respect. But I'm hoping he actually looks at that and goes, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do the same as they do. I'm going to actually do what we do. Because if you actually come at us that's the perfect game for us. If you play the conservative type game that you play, then that'll be difficult for us, but we will manage to find a way, because it's not just Woods scoring, so the wingers are scoring as well. And and also you got to take into account we've just had an international break. Your guys didn't play, injured or not, who knows? I'm not going into that controversy. But the thing is we've kept playing and we're doing good playing as well. Woodsy got a hat trick, got about 5 goals, I think, in the 2 weeks. So, I mean, they're still banging goals in and the confidence is still high. Morgan Gibbs-White went in for England and he had an absolute... And everybody's waxing lyrical about the guy now. So, I mean, his confidence is massively high as well. So, it's one of them. I'd never underestimate Arsenal. I'd never underestimate you all of a sudden getting back on some kind of track. So I'm not going to sit here and go, yeah, you know, you're done or anything like that, because I don't think you are. You're still in there, in my opinion, anyway. And it's going to be a tough game. And if we turn up and give the game that we can away from home, then we can beat you. I'm 100% sure of that.
Yeah, and I'm 100% confident that we're not going to be playing anything different than the 4-2-3-1 that we've been playing most of the season. It's going to be extremely negative. And you know, it'll probably be Rice if he's not injured. If not, then it'll be either J20 or and Mikel Merino, which Mikel Merino, I'm gonna tell you what, he plays well for Spain. He's plays shit for Arsenal. I watched him play against Denmark and he looked good. But he will never deliver that kind of performance for Arsenal. And I don't know what, like maybe Arteta needs to go and look at some of what his countryman is doing to actually unlock this guy. But this guy is absolute shit. And I don't expect him to generate any sort of offense. Like last season, we were generating goals from all over the pitch. Like, and it just seems like this season we're playing so much more defensive, and we're trying to make up for the fact that we're playing more defensive by putting in set pieces. But the well hath run dry. You know, people are going to catch on to that. They're going to try to, you know, this whole wait on the edge of the box and then run in and try to get a header. Yeah, that worked for a little while, but now people are catching on to it. They've mapped it. And we got to come up with something good. We have to score goals from open play. We have to score more goals from open play. That's the biggest. That's the biggest difference between this season and last season. Is that we have no ideas when we get into the final third. Obviously, we've been playing with an injured Odegaard. We looked a lot better, I think, in the first half of that Chelsea match, but we did not. We're still not finishing the job. And you know, maybe it'll turn around when Odegaard comes back. It like really comes back, and we have a front line that with a confident Martinelli and a confident Saka. Until then, we don't have anything, because Kai Havertz. I'm sorry, like I'm kind of done. I'm done. There's no like you can't really sell me any dreams on this guy anymore. He's a body. He's going to take up space. But if we're going to score goals, we're going to score them from the wings. Other than that, like you're not going to expect. And I'll turn it over to Dal after this, because I feel like I can go on a fucking rant here. You're not. I think we're past the point of expecting Kai Havertz to create any sort of magic in the box. Like, unless the ball is put directly on his head, he's not going to do anything. So that's why, like, if we don't get Martinelli and Saka humming, if we don't start getting Odegaard some space, like it's lights out. We're going to be in a top 4 race the entire season. I mean, what do you think, Dal? That's just kind of my thought, man.
I'm kind of over it since the Bournemouth match. I just thought that was abysmal. Like, Bournemouth, I mean, no disrespect, but my God, that's a team that we should be running over day and night. I don't understand the tactics. I don't understand the instructions he's giving them. He's telling one player this, the other player that. I'm sure of it, you know. And both of whatever he's saying to, let's say, Trossard or Martinelli, it's not connecting. You know, none of it's connecting. And I just, you know, the only plus, I guess, this tomorrow is that we're at home. I mean, if it was going to Forest, I'd be dead serious. We'd drop it 3-0, you know. But I just think at home, I mean, the score is going to be tighter. We'll get into predictions, but you know, what's there to be said? We like you said, TJ. We cannot score goals from open play. I mean,
you know, we're stronger away than at home at the moment, don't you?
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. And we've only lost, I think, one away game in all of 2024, one or two. So that's fantastic, right? But a lot of that was the beginning of last year, the end of last season. You know, ever since the summer, we do not look like the same team. I don't care what other top gooders say. We are not the same squad that ended last season as good as we look now. I mean, as bad as we look now. You know what I mean? As good as we were last time, the summer just put everything into a sandwich and got eaten up by the top gunner fan base because everybody was picking up Calafiore. Everybody was bigging up.
And they hadn't seen him play one game in the Italian league.
Right, Moreno. And I didn't think he was going to be that good, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And to me, for me, the jury's still out on Moreno. I really haven't seen him do much. And I know that sounds
I saw
weird.
enough. I saw enough during the Euros. I saw enough during the Euros to be like, okay, well, you know, he assisted one goal and everybody's picking him up. Like, and look, like I watched him against Spain in whatever the Nations League when they were playing against Denmark. He did have an actually good game, and it showed me that he's actually capable of doing it. And that's what really pissed me off.
For his country though. For his country.
Yeah.
A lot of players can excel for their country and don't excel for their actual clubs.
Right.
And you've also got to put Arteta into the equation as well, because he's going to be telling him I know what you do. This is what I don't get. I know what you do before, but we brought you in to do this. It's like, well, no, that's his qualities. So you make him stick to his qualities, because if you're trying to get him to do different things, you know, you're not going to have a good time. It's same as Collymore. When he signed for different teams other than us, they tried to get him to be like you've got to be a team player and all this, that, and the other. It's not his game. If it's not your game, then you don't do that. And any manager that knows what they're doing pretty much does do that. Yes, every now and then you can change them to different positions and things like that. But, I mean, it's like tomorrow, if we got Moreno on Saka, Moreno quietened Salah down 100%. Salah's throwing Moreno on the floor, so you know how angry he is. So Moreno does a great job there as well. So, I mean, that could shut out Saka. And what else you got?
Well, that's throwing him on the floor is part of my disappointment. I remember I said in previous shows that I was really excited to have Rice, Jorginho to a point, because I think there's some experience in there we could have used for FA Cup games, etc. I was really pleased because I thought we finally had a midfield that had some fucking steel to it, And we showed again some of that at the end of last season, beginning of this year. But now it just looks like, our midfield just looks pissed. We've had Brighton go through it. Bournemouth just playing through it. We're going to have you guys play through it tomorrow. The midfield is not as strong as it should be. We're not pushing players down. We're not knocking players around. We're running with players till they get into our final third, and then we're putting late tackles in. We're relying on Gabriel and Saliba to do fucking everything.
Same old story. Same old story, mate. Same old story.
We get these names in that do a good job for us the first, maybe second season, and now the third season comes around, and then they're absolute fucking like a wet paper towel. And then we're getting, like TJ said, the red cards. It's not like we're hitting players hard, and making statements. No, we're kicking balls away while the ref is staring at it. We're doing dumb, immature things out on the pitch because the concentration levels aren't there. The camaraderie, the communication is certainly not there that it was the season before last. And, missing the captain, that has an effect. And I tried to argue, I think, even with Tony Claude and a bit with TJ, that Trossard should be able to do Odegaard things. We should not have slumped so bad with having this Belgian superstar that everyone was gassing up, do Odegaard things. He's completely incapable of doing that now that we know. He is shit when he starts. He is a left-wing impact player. That's it. And we're signing a 29-year-old to a new contract already. What's he deserve? He doesn't even like Mikel Arteta. He doesn't even seem to get on with the manager. And we're signing this fraud. And again, you're done with Havertz. I'm done with Trossard. Well, and Havertz too. I'm done with a lot of them. But Trossard, I got to throw in that bucket because
Well,
there's his attitude for one. You know, he's I know he's trying, but you know, like Don C, he's a bench guy. We're trying to force bench players
Don C.
into these starting roles, and they're not good enough. It doesn't matter the name on the back, TJ and Yeti, Don C, right? It's Trossard, Arnelli, whoever he's trying to fit in there, it's not working. You know, and the Bournemouth game, I'm sorry, I want this regime gone after the Bournemouth game, but I know it's not going to happen. You know, it's not going to happen.
No, I agree with you. I mean, and a lot of this falls on the manager as well. Like, look, we could talk about how Trossard has an attitude problem. Like, you go back and watch how he acted after he scored that goal against Villa, and he's just like, yeah, I'm the guy. And then he's proved over the last 9 games that he is in fact not the guy.
Right.
That's insane to me. But a lot of that is just Arteta playing him in a position that he was never fit to play in the first place. Like against the teams that we've lost against, like the Bournemouths and not getting results against Brighton. You know, Brighton obviously we're tied on points with them, but I still think they're going to fall off. I'm not going to lie. Sorry, I think they're more likely to fall off than Nottingham Forest is. Bad take for some people, but either way, no. But you're talking about a guy that should be putting in performances in the 10 regardless, but it's not his normal position. So why is Arteta throwing him in there? Throw the kid in there. Throw Wanyeri in there, and especially against these teams that are definitely going to go back down to the Championship. The Southamptons, the Leicesters. Why don't you give him a shot against these guys? Because and that is his natural position. And you can play him on the wing. You can play him on the wing as well. Like, I just don't understand how we touted this 3 years of youth movement, and then when we get a chance to actually play youth, we don't do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when we do play youth now, it's at the most inopportune times. Yep. It's like putting in Miles Lewis Skelly against Liverpool when we're trying to hold on to a 2-1 lead. Like, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous to me.
Right.
Some of the managerial decisions need to be questioned. They need to be questioned, man. Like, we can blame the players. The players have to hold responsibility, obviously, because we have players to the level to where we shouldn't even be talking about being in a top 4 race. It's us against Man City and Liverpool. We shouldn't be in a 4-way tie with Brighton, Nottingham Forest, no offense, and who else? Fucking Chelsea. We shouldn't be.
Offense taken.
Yeah. Well,
this is Yeti's year.
This is Yeti's year, man. Like, and you know, I'm happy for Yeti because at least one of my friends is happy, like, because I'm fucking miserable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I just say, guys, right? The biggest problem is, and we've been saying this for a while, ever since we've all been streaming and all this, that, and the other. The problem with Arsenal is obvious. It's depth. There's no challenge for shirts, and there's nobody in there that's going to take the shirt off you. You know, you've got the Sterlings and all this, that, and the other. Everybody knows he's kind of on his way gone. So, I mean, he's not going to be trying to take shirts off people or anything like that, not in that way. But, you know, I mean, it's like you've got no competition or anything. One thing we have is competition, because we signed like 100,000 players when we came up to the Premier League. But, you know, I mean, and that is one of your biggest issues, in my opinion. And I actually have a theory for the reason you haven't got the depth as well. I think the reason you haven't got the depth is because that would show Arteta for the fraud he is as a coach. Because if you had players who could change a game, then he's got to have a different plan. And he don't want to have a different plan, does he? You know, so that would actually make him that would shine him out as a manager that doesn't really know what he's doing, because he would have the players to change a game and wouldn't use them. You know?
Right. And I think that coincides with his treatment of Aubameyang. That's, you know, top European striker, and he plays him a left wing back.
Yeah.
And he gets mad because he drives a chrome Ferrari. Well, you know what? As much as that is obnoxious to people, Aubameyang has actually earned that par. Aubameyang put him years at Dortmund, got them to a Champions League final in 2013. You know, let's have some, like Jose says, let's have some respect. Respect, right? It is about respect. If you have, like you said, Arsenal has to have a big name star. We have to. We are that club, right? And our biggest name star right now, I'm sorry, is not Havertz, it's Saka. And all of that responsibility you're putting on a 22, 23-year-old kid to be the star. And, You know, there's certain times he's star boy, you know, but at the end of the day, he's a purple patch player.
Massive pressure on him, though, as well. Massive pressure on him because you're always playing to him as well. So he's the one that's got to actually make it work in the final third.
It's too much pressure for him alone, you know, and we just know Kai Havertz just isn't good enough, and Martinelli's form has fallen off, and Trossard just got rewarded a new contract for being an average 29-year-old. If he never got that hat trick against Liverpool, would he even be in the conversation? How many times have we talked about the hat trick against Liverpool? Trossard! I mean, it's just is a 29-year-old legend that I think has randomly started for them. I don't even think he's a starter all the time in the national team.
He wasn't. That the only reason he fell out of Brighton was because the manager wasn't picking him. So he got in fights with the manager before.
That, right? And there's reasons for that. Maybe his form fell, they didn't get along. Well, it seems like some of those same reasons, TJ, seem to be resurfacing with Arteta then, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you know, if you have two people and one problem, it's not just a one person problem. You know, and I just think that Trossard is just one of those kind of, you know, elitist type footballers, right? We've talked about this before, the blue collar footballer and the pretty boy elitist footballer like Odegaard and Trossard. You know,
and it's kind of crazy that Trossard. It's kind of crazy that Trossard is like that because he hasn't won shit. Like it's really kind of crazy how this club carries itself because we got a high points total 2 seasons in a row and didn't win anything. Like it's really kind of crazy, which is why I think it's so important for us. Like obviously, I think I've made no secret about how I think the Premier League race is over. I think it's going to be between Man City and Liverpool. I don't care about injuries. Pep Guardiola is going to figure it out. Like, hate to be the spoiler for you. We'll get third or fourth is what I'm thinking. But that being said, like if we don't win a cup or anything this season, I think players start looking the other way. And we're going to start needing to look at a full rebuild of this squad, especially if we don't pick up form. And I mean pick up form starting tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah. Because it starts to look a lot worse when you've gone through 2 international breaks and your form looks no better. None.
Right. So no. Tomorrow's the catalyst for everything. Because if we fall tomorrow, there's no digging out at Christmas time.
No, there's not
enough games to dig out those missed points that we would have.
Yeah, right? And let's see. And I know we're going to do predictions in a second, but I just want to remind people, Liverpool plays Southampton tomorrow, so that's 3 points for them.
Yeah, should be. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then Brighton play Bournemouth away, which is challenging for them. Obviously, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, it's going to be close. Man United are going to play Ipswich Town away, which I think they're going to get 3 points under Amorim. Like it's going to look very, very close. If we don't start getting results. And Chelsea, I'm sorry, they're going to turn over Leicester City, so we could end up in six tomorrow. 6.
Right, and then it's officially done because that's where I think we flatline. That's where I think, hey, shout out Flawless. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, Flawless.
That's if we lose tomorrow, we flatline out. Meaning that if we won, I don't know who we play after Forest, but if we won that game and
we play Sporting Portugal away.
Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon. Yeah.
Portugal. Is that a new club, TJ?
Yeah, I'm gonna get. I'll make shit up.
Gyökeres, mate. Gyökeres.
It could have been 4 or 5 nil.
Yeah.
Away. No, I mean, I guess my point is that I'm just messing with you, TJ. I know.
No, it's fine.
You know, it's Sporting Lisbon.
It is. I'm just finished.
It just sounded funny for a second. Sporting Ronaldo. Yeah, no shit.
Sporting Ronaldo FC. Yeah.
The thing is that I think this is where we flatline if we don't win tomorrow. Meaning that if we, besides outside of Europe in the Prem, I don't know who we play after Forest. I mean, after Sporting Portugal, but put it in the chat. I forget who we play next weekend. But if we win even next weekend, it won't matter if we don't win West Ham, which will not probably be an easy game. And so what I'm saying is if we lose this game and we beat West Ham, it ain't going to fucking matter. Right? If we Right. So
Well, if
I
you don't
think
beat
this
West
game-
Ham,
this
mate, I
weekend
mean, there's something wrong there, definitely.
is a flat
If
line.
we lose to Lopetegui, I want him out immediately.
Exactly.
Fire him in
What
the
happened?
tunnel. Do not.
Would
do not
you
lose
guys?
to
Jared
Lopetegui,
could
West
have
Ham?
a-
No.
Jared
Would you
Goff could have a
guys
day.
take a loss tomorrow to get rid of him?
No,
I hate losing.
no. He
Well, we
needs to
all
go-
do, but
He needs
Yeah.
to go on just bad merit alone. Right? He needs to pay the price of
he
what
ain't gonna go. He ain't gonna go
season.
unless you keep losing, mate. He ain't gonna go unless you keep
Right.
losing.
I mean, that's
So,
here's what I'm saying. And I think that we flatline, meaning that, yeah, okay, maybe we beat West Ham 2-1, and then we turn around and lose or draw again. And then the following weekend we draw, and then we win again. None of it matters because we're going to be so stagnated between 5th and 6th that a win's going to feel like a draw. We have to put together win after win
That's
after
funny.
win. We have to go on a run, literally, like, Yeti. I mean, if we're 9-12 points behind next weekend, we're for a run of 5-6 games. It's not going to happen.
yeah.
No way
Yeah.
with this team, with this squad, and the levels we're playing at now that we're going to go on a 5-game win streak like we did at the beginning of this season, where we were putting teams play 4-5, 6-0. Leicester, Chelsea 5-0. Remember, we scrunched them like a bug. That's
Yeah,
just
but I
not
mean,
gonna
you guys know football. Football can all of a sudden switch and change. Look at that last season where you're right at the top of the league, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it just all starts going wrong. And at the same point, it can all start going right. So, that's the way football is. It can all of a sudden take a change. But one thing I've noticed about Arsenal, when the referees are on your case, you tend to fall to pieces a little bit. I have actually noticed that, and it's because basically Arteta, and I've said it once before, I'll say it again every fucking time till he's gone. He's clueless. He is absolutely clueless.
Well, it's a leadership problem. Like it's a leadership and board problem. If you can't sign players that can't get over a referee, which in the Premier League it's statistically shown that they are some of the worst in Europe. You got to go in knowing that, and you got to go in knowing that calls are not going to go your way. 2 of our red cards this season have been because we're undisciplined and we can't take a bad call. And that starts with the manager, and it also comes with the character of that you're building within the squad as well. Like, I hold Arteta responsible for that, but I also hold the board responsible for that, for allowing players like that to be in our club. Like, it's absolutely insane to me that Martin Odegaard goes out and then we start just bonehead red cards all the time. Like, is he really that important in keeping the discipline of the squad? I don't think he should. Like, it's a leadership problem. And if anybody has played, if anybody here has played organized sports, that you feed off of the energy of the people around you. So if one person loses his head, it's gonna permeate throughout the rest of the squad. So if you don't have somebody to keep your eye on the ball, then it only goes downhill from there. And that's what I saw against Brighton. That's what I saw against, who was it, Bournemouth, even though that was was Saliba just being dumb. And it's just it's brutal. It's brutal to see that after 3 years of Odegaard being the captain of this squad, I still don't feel like we have a good leader. Like, we still don't have that Tony Adams, that Vieira. We still don't have that person that is Arsenal and embodies a winner and somebody that is disciplined and focused on winning alone. Sorry to get on
I think you've got it. I think you've got it. You just don't make him captain, and that's Declan Rice. I think he could be that player if he actually gets the captain's armband, because every game I've seen, he's the one that's geeing everybody up. Yes, he's done stupid stuff, obviously. Any player does. But the fact of the matter is, he's the one that's driving it. I've seen like a few games where he's trying to drive into the box and have the shots and stuff like that, which would suggest to me that he's getting frustrated because he's kind of coming out of his position to do what he needs to do. So that's another big sign, that he should be captain for me, in my opinion. Anyway, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
I'll be back in a sec,
yeah,
mate.
Rice is
absolutely.
equivalent. I would even go in for Gabrielle as captain.
I would say Gabrielle or Rice. I'd be good with that.
Yeah,
I'd be good with that.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier that it's like they're not what you said about like the communication and them feeding off each other. I think that's really missing this season because that was really a vibe we could really see during most of last season, the season before for sure.
Right.
Of just how they vibe off each other, right? Just the communication, the passing, just
Dal, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Outside of the Villa game and maybe PSG, do these guys look like they're having fun?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're enjoying themselves at all. And I think that you have to have that positive mental attitude to actually go out there and be successful. These guys don't look like they're having fun. They look like they look like they hate the style of football that they're playing.
Yes, they do. And it's like it's and I really think that's where he's at the beginning of losing the dressing room. I know I've said in previous shows that I think he's kind of lost it already, but I think now we're seeing the beginning of that because I just don't understand how you can go from such a different style of play from 2 seasons onto this one. And we only see this because of the City game, right? Which he had to do, which was smart of him to go down. Well, not smart of him to go down to 10 men, but to go defensively with only 10 men, right? You're not going to open. I can't imagine anyone would open their squad up against City when you're down to 10 men at the Etihad, right? But I think defensive performance in the second half against City was so good, although John fucking Stones, right? But that performance was so good up to the 95th minute that he's kind of put that in his catalog now. Like this is a style he kind of wants us to play. And you can even see, and I think even before the City game in some cases, because of the moves that we made in the summertime, with Calafiori, Moreno, the defensive mid, is he to replace Partey? Is he replacing Jorginho? I mean, none of this has been communicated. And I think, I don't expect as a fan to him to really say that all the time, but I don't think that's even been communicated in the squad. I don't think they have a full understanding of like who are they playing with on Saturday, who's ready, who's not, right? And also when it comes to just the pure play out on the pitch, they're waiting for the ball. I've said this numerous times. They're not aggressive at getting the ball pass to pass. They're waiting, and teams are cutting in. They're getting a step ahead of us, which I know exactly is what Forest is going to do Saturday. They're going to play close to us and get a step in front. And we're just not that aggressive at receiving the ball. I think of our attacking our backs to goal too much. Like we said in some games, the build-up's way too slow. Even with Odegaard back, I think we said the build-up was too slow, especially in the first half against Chelsea. I don't think there's any identifiable traits, for lack of a better word, to this squad this year. Nobody's doing anything well, except for Raya. And even that's suspect. But,
pretty much.
How many times can we give our goalie the fucking man of the match? Yeah, here, Jess. Take it easy, bro.
Catch you later, Jess.
How many times can you give your goalie man of the match? And that sums up a lot for me, because that just means your attack in midfield is doing absolute piss.
Yeah. Well, the thing is tomorrow, right? What in my opinion, what will happen is we'll try and play the midfield trap, which we normally do, and then basically what will happen is because I get a bit annoyed with it when I'm watching the watch along. Like, what are you standing off and what are you standing off them for? But it's quite a clever way that Nuno does it. Basically, you stand off them, they've realised that the midfield's a little bit open, and as soon as you start playing in the midfield, we close in. We close in and we start pressing and we start taking the ball off you. And as Lee Gunner says the other day, in 3 passes, we can be in on goal. We've got it like the machine's that finely oiled, so it's going to be interesting. But I think what we're playing at the minute, and as a Forest fan, it's absolutely fucking amazing. To actually see. And as somebody said in the chat a few minutes ago. I think it was Anthony. All I want from Forest is a respect, and we're getting that now. And I said, if you don't give it us, we'll take it. And that goes to every single club. And the thing is, I listen to a lot of your other fans talk absolute shit. And he's like, they put Arteta in the frames of being great manager and all this kind of stuff. I'm sorry, but you're talking Clough, you're talking Fergie, you're talking Pep. Yeah. Get out of my face. What? If you think he's in those echelons, then you don't know ball, I'm afraid.
Right. No, he has no pedigree of winning. That's what gets me so mad at these top gooners that just, kiss this guy's ass. He has no pedigree of winning anything but an FA Cup with a team that wasn't half his. It wasn't even half his. I mean, there was 2 players he brought in. I don't even remember now. I don't even remember who played, but I know Aubameyang played. I know he scored a couple goals.
Aubameyang, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was the only reason we won that FA Cup. So, you cannot convince me otherwise. And a couple of good refereeing decisions, but the refs are against us, right? Anyway,
those come and go.
Anyway, I know I got to go here pretty soon because I got to go back to work. But we're gonna do predictions before we go. I mean, Perfect. Come on. So play in the chat. Let's go. Play in the chat. Let's go ahead and get it going here. By the way, injury report before we get into that. By the way, latest is Tomiyasu's out. Kieran Tierney will continue to be out. Ben White is not available due to surgery, but Declan Rice should be available. Saka should be available. Trossard will be available. Odegaard will be available. Calafiori will be available. So,
who's Kieran Tierney?
Yeah, he's a myth.
You ever heard from the Highlands?
You ever heard of the flying? You ever heard of the Flying Dutchman? He's the Flying Scotsman.
It just flies around.
All right, guys, let's get it started. Let's start with our early match. We got I need to talk. I Chester. Need to just Chester City. No, we got Leicester City hosting Chelsea. Start with Eddie.
Well, I mean, I can't see Leicester beating Chelsea, but then again, they've also got the Cooper factor, and I know what he's capable of putting out there. So I can see a Chelsea win, personally. I think Chelsea will probably win that about 3-1, personally.
Yeah. What do you got, Tal?
3-0 Chelsea. That's going to be an absolute slaughter.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think it'll be a 3-1. I'm going with Don C and Yeti. I'm going 3-1 as well. Fulham at home to Wolves. Wolves have been woeful.
Oh, Fulham Wolves. It's got to be a Fulham win. I mean, Fulham are playing some good stuff to beat us at our place, and there was a few odd decisions, but whatever. But, I think Fulham will beat Wolves. Wolves just don't seem to be kind of getting it together. They play some decent stuff, but then they haven't really got the finished product. So I think Fulham will probably win that 2-1.
What you got, Dal?
I'm going on a big one here. Hat trick for Emerald Smith Rowe. 4-0 Fulham.
4-0 Fulham.
4-0. I don't think
that's crazy. I'm cheating off Don C. I'm going 2-0 Fulham, but Reece Nelson will get one of those goals and possibly ESR because you leave Arsenal, you start cooking. Apparently,
I think Wolves are absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, been injured, has he? Has he been injured since he's gone to Fulham?
Who
Nelson?
No, Emil Smith Rowe.
No,
he's had no injuries at all, has he?
No, he's bagging goals for fun too.
Imagine that.
Assisting as well. He's done a lot of assists as well for Fulham.
Yep. Everton hosting Brentford. God, that depresses me. Sorry, I'm thinking of Emil
Everton.
Smith. That's a whole different thing. Go ahead.
Everton, Brentford. It's got to be Brentford, I think. Everton, as hard as they play and things like that, I think the way that Thomas Frank has kind of got Brentford playing at the minute, I think, with Umbermo as well, who's an absolute quality player. I think that's a Brentford win for me. That's 1-0, 1-2-0.
Yeah. Dal?
2-0 Brentford. Piece of piss, mate.
I'm gonna give Everton the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna go 1-1. I'll go 1-1 draw on that. I'm gonna save Arsenal Forest for the end.
Fraudulent channel.
Fraudulent channel. Yeah, coming from Cubed. I can't take it too seriously. I'm not gonna lie.
Big up Cubed.
Big up Cubed every time.
You're a
Bournemouth
decent person. You're a Spurs fan, but we won't hold that against you.
Yeah. I'll hold it against her. Don't worry. I'll do it for the both of us. We got Bournemouth at home to Brighton. That'll be an interesting one, actually.
Bournemouth, Brighton. I mean, my mate's side's a Bournemouth fan, so I never sort of cut them out. I do think Bournemouth's a good side, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win on that one, to be honest with you.
All right.
2-0 Bournemouth.
2-0. 2-0 Bournemouth.
Yeah.
They're great at home. Dow, what do you got?
I think I'm going to go 2-2 with Don C.
I'm cheating off of you and Don C too. I wasn't even looking at the chat. Yeah, 2-2. That German manager's got him humming, man. Apparently you can play Football Manager and then just translate that into a career nowadays. Who knew?
Well, that's what Arteta's tried to do, but he's failed at it, I suppose.
Well, he didn't start. He didn't start in the second. He didn't start in the second tier of the German league. This guy coached at St. Paul, got him promoted, came over here, and he's got them humming now. So
who's St. Paul?
St. Paul in Germany.
Oh, yeah. Right.
St. Pauli.
St. Pauli.
Not St. Germany then. Like Sporting Portugal.
I'm talking about St. Portugal. Have you ever heard of her?
It's St. Portugal.
Aston Villa at home to Crystal Palace.
Ooh, that's a good game.
It's got to be Villa for me. Unfortunately for Palace, they signed Nketiah and became a losers club. So yeah,
he's like, he's like no goals, no assists in like 11 games.
It's weird. It's like we knew he was bad 3 years ago, but all right.
They gave him the 14.
I'm still celebrating, mate, the fact that fucking we didn't get him.
Yeah. Could you imagine? You guys are in a relegation scrap if you guys had signed Eddie.
Chris Wood, who?
All right. What'd you say for the score on that one, Eddie?
Which one was it?
Villa.
Palace. Aston Villa. Yeah. I think it'd be about 3-0.
Yeah. Dow?
I'm gonna go 2-1 Villa.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0 Villa. 2-0. Yeah. Cubed is going to Man City. Spurs against Man City.
Wow, that's a big one, to be fair, because the thing with Spurs is 1 minute they're sort of on the edge. 1 minute they look all right, next minute they look utter shite. And it's like, I would probably say, I think Man City will win that, to be quite honest with you. I think it might be quite an higher scoring game as well. 3-2, I think.
3-2.
Yeah, 3-2. Okay. No, I mean, it depends on what Spurs team shows up. But go ahead. What do you think?
I think Pep gets his revenge on Ange. I think it's 4-0. I'm sorry. I mean, they're 0-4. They've literally lost their last 4 games in a row, which has never, ever, ever happened in his career. Ever.
Yeah, I don't think they're losing 5 in a row.
Yeah, and I know Tottenham's kind of been their bogey team off and on throughout the last 4 or 5 years, but if Erling Haaland still scored for Norway. I still think that Tottenham defense is a one-man defense with Van der Veen and Haaland. Yeah. I got to go 4-0.
I think Tottenham are a bogey team for themselves, aren't they?
Yeah,
they pretty much are.
Whenever they lose, they're playing against themselves. That's for sure.
Right.
Hey, big up Ipswich! Big up Ipswich!
Big up
beat somebody.
Every time. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Cube. I don't think you guys score.
You guys.
And
Romero, Van de Ven and Romero. Yeah, that's a 4. That's a
5-0.
That's a 4-0. I'm going 4-0 Man City. It's over. Southampton at home to Liverpool. That'll be an easy 3 points.
No, he's got to be Liverpool, and I mean Southampton just can't defend. I mean they just can't defend at all. So I'm actually going to go 4-0 on that one.
4-0. All right. What do you got, Dow?
Copying the Yeti. Ramsdale.
I'm copying both of you. It's going to be a 4-0.
4-0, bro. They're going to kill him. Ramsdale's going to be livid.
Yep. Yeah. Ramsdale, and he looks so bad out there too.
There's no
Oh, jeez.
defenders.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I hope Liverpool don't win because that'll stop us being able to catch them and winning the league. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You have grand delusions of grandeur after 11 weeks, bro.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of Arsenal fans at Band 12.
You do. I know that. Yeah, you do. You're drinking the Arsenal Kool-Aid as a Forest fan.
It's ridiculous. All right. Ipswich Town at home. Amarim's debut for Man United.
Oh, that's going to be nasty for Ipswich because Ipswich, their head tails are up because they beat Spurs. But Man United with Amarim, I think that's just going to be a different story. I think Man United are really going to let it go tomorrow. I'm going to go again 4-0, to be honest.
4-0. What do you got, Dal?
I'm going to go with Mr. Don C, 3-0. I think 4 is a stretch, but could very well be. I got to go 3-0. He's going to have them playing. He's going to have them playing. Yeah. You know, so, and I think there's something to be said that maybe they acted too soon because I think Van Nistelrooy was getting the tune out of them too. You know,
yeah, but the thing is, when you get a new manager, the players play for the manager, even if it's just for one game. You know, they'll come out for the manager.
They've won 4 in a row though under Van Nistelrooy, I believe, in all competitions.
Yeah,
they're 4-0 underneath him. So, again,
I think they just wanted rid of that bold crap, to be honest.
Better. But if you look at these players, Yeti, is Amarim really going to do that good with this group of players? Because you look at United, I mean, there's some few names on the team sheet. You can tell there's some names that stick out, but they are not that good. They really aren't. And
I think they can turn it on, though. They can turn it on.
I really want to see him play Amarim ball. I really want to see the 3 at the back, wing backs, attacking wing backs. Like, I want to see that. I want to see how.
But I don't know if they're right. But I want to see it too because I don't think they're capable of doing it. I mean, he's not going to have enough. Well, he's not going to have enough time, TJ. Let's institute a 3-4-3 or whatever the hell it is. If he uses some, flamboyant, outrageous 3-2-1-5-1, whatever the fuck formation, it ain't going to work with United, right? Because they can't even play a simple 4-4-2. And I know all due respect to Van Nistelrooy, as much as I can't stand United and so forth, but I mean he has them playing well. So
yes, he does.
I don't know if Amarim comes in, changes things up. Maybe it won't work as well, but I still think they beat Ipswich.
The way that Man United fans have been gassing this guy up, you would think that he's the next coming
they
of
gassed up Mourinho. They gassed up Solskjaer.
He's got to work. He's got to work. These guys deserve a break. Manchester United fans deserve a break, man. They deserve a break.
Man United don't. Listen, he has one player from Sporting with his Ugarte who's been very average this season. You're telling me that he's gonna get a tune out of Trashford and possibly Anthony if he stays, and that midfield without McTominay, who's doing big things up at Napoli. But the thing is that he doesn't have the players.
They'll do what players always do. They'll do what players always do when a new manager comes in. They'll play one good game. They'll play one good game to keep their shirts and stuff like that, and then basically just to get their names in the manager's minds. And then where it goes. But I mean, come on, Man United fans deserve some. I mean, man, how many times can you tread on somebody? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they've got to get something eventually.
Yeah, but I like treading on them because I absolutely can't stand them.
I can't stand.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone likes treading on them, but
sure. Yeah, you got a good point. We'll see what happens, but I still got to think they beat Ipswich 3-0.
Yeah, I'm going 3-0 as well. Yeah, it's gonna be a trouncing. Mama Flossie is hosting early doors and on Monday, Newcastle, West Ham.
Ooh.
Nice. Newcastle are going to win it. I don't see anything with West Ham at the minute.
Yeah,
there's nothing there
all season. There's nothing there. Lopetegui.
There's nothing there.
Lopetegui's the next one to go. So
if you go to the game, you will actually hear the fat lady getting ready to sing because she is actually getting ready to sing and get rid of him. You can tell.
Yeah.
I think they should just ditch him now. What's your score, Yeti? What do you think the goal's gonna be?
I think because Isaac's back on it now, he's getting himself sorted out and everything. So I would say a good 3-1, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
like I say, with West Ham, they are just shocking at the minute. And the thing is, it'll probably go bad for you guys because Newcastle will beat them and they'll get rid of him and they'll get they'll get Ancelotti or something for when you guys play them.
God, what do you got, Dal?
Ancelotti to West Ham. Well, he did go to Everton, so I guess all craziness. I got to go with our man Anthony, my hero. 2-0. I don't think West Ham can get a sniff. 2-0 will wrap it up. Eddie Howe won't risk the injuries. 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0 as well for the tune. To the tune. And then last and certainly not least, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest at the Emirates. Yeti, what do you got?
Well, I've got 2-1 or 3-1. I think we'll win this one. I think it'll be a long time. It's a long time since we've beat you guys at Emirates. But, guys, I'm telling you what, the hammer's coming down tomorrow, and that's not about West Ham. But basically, mate, we are going to take you to pieces tomorrow.
Dal?
So what was the score, Yeti?
You said
2-1. 2-1 or 3-1.
Okay, my apologies.
Unless the referee plays for you like he normally does and Saka starts throwing his arse on the floor all the time, unless that happens.
All right, this is the big one. Let's see. At home to Forest. 2-1 the Arsenal.
Yeah, you've got to go with your own team.
Right.
It doesn't matter how diluted it is, but you've got to go with your own team.
I'm going with my own team. I'm going 2-1. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. But there's no way. I don't think there's any way we keep a clean sheet. We're not disciplined enough, in my opinion. Yeah, it's going to be 2-1. It'll be a 2-1 Arsenal win. I think that's what I'm going for. Despite my overall negativity, it's just Jesus.
Even the sheet that you cry into won't be clean, mate.
let me ask Yeti a question though before we go. I know we're going to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
Shout out everyone in the chat. Thanks for being here. First of all, second of all, Yeti.
Yeah, big up everybody.
What happens though? What happens, Yeti? If we do you boys 4-0, what happens to the confidence? Does Nuno go back to the drawing board? What happens then? Because I still think your club is susceptible to loss, draw, right? That's not out of your DNA just yet. So if you guys are riding full high confidence, which is understood, and you get pounded tomorrow, where does the confidence go?
Well, the confidence is still there because we are like playing over and above. So, I mean, if we lose this one, it might be the kick up the backside that we need to actually, keep moving on. So every good thing comes to an end, and we haven't lost away from home yet. I'm not saying that that's going to be 100%, but I tell you what, regardless what happens in this season, I'm a massively proud fucking Forest fan at what I'm seeing, because I'm seeing respect now from other teams, and that's all I ever fucking wanted.
So you think the confidence in the squad just takes a hit and you get right back to it next Saturday?
I do. I mean, a 4-0 would be a bit of a fucker, but it wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if that could happen. It depends kind of how the game goes and how each other sets up and all that kind of thing, and how you guys approach the games. I mean, if Arteta gives everybody fucking pumpkins before the game, I mean, we might be in trouble. But we've got to see kind of how that goes. He's got his pickpockets and all that bollocks going on, so. I think my mind says that we're going to win it tomorrow.
Gotcha. Right on. My mind
right
says
on.
You're going to cry, and you're going to love it more, and you're going to cry more.
That's a lot of hopium right there. That's a lot of hopium. I'm not going to lie.
A lot of hopium.
All right, guys, we're gonna get wrapped up. If you guys have not subscribed to the Yeti, long-haired Yeti's Cave, go and subscribe to him. The link is in the title. It's not in the description. It's in the title. It's that blue thing. Click it and hit subscribe. Does great gaming content. Does great football content. What do you got coming up, Yeti? Anything? Other, what we got to watch along, but anything
Well,
else?
yeah, I've got the biggest watch along going on tomorrow with Jezza, Arsenal v
Nice.
Forest. So that's going to be one to check out because I'm sure that's going to be Major League interesting. And, and we'll probably see Jez cry. I don't know. You might do. You never know.
He will not be happy if we lose the game tomorrow. He will not be happy
If
at
we
all.
lose tomorrow,
he's gonna
it's yikes.
It's going to be peak tomorrow for Jazz.
To be honest, I just hope the game. I just hope the game is won by either team being better than the other instead of stupid fucking officiating and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about officiating at the end of this thing.
Oh, there's Jazz. He's popped back in. I might be in %, mate, to be honest.
All right. Dal.
I think that's a typo. Yes, TJ.
Dal, are we going to do a reaction tomorrow?
No, because I have to do a half-hour trip to Beaverton for a 10 a.m. basketball tournament.
Oh,
no,
shit.
9 a.m.
He's even got his plan ready. Look, when we beat him, he don't want to be. He don't want to be there. Look, he don't want to be there.
Plan, Yeti. He's got his escape plan.
I've got my son's got an early basketball game in Beaverton, Oregon, headquarters of the great Nike Corporation. Incredible campus. So whatever, come to visit
Good
Oregon.
luck to him.
But anyway, no, I got the game, and then I'm out the door for a half-hour drive for a couple games, and I'm back home for the afternoon, and then in the evening, I got to drive an hour away for another basketball tournament for my son. So, yeah, I'm going to be gone all day tomorrow, catch some highlights, but I should be good for the game.
Before you leave for the basketball game, you need to schedule like 10 minutes to fucking cry before you actually go.
I will put that in my phone right now. Let me put that in the calendar. Let's see. So it'll be 9:07 Tears on Demand. And I'll have to leave you a message on IG. You want to see on IG, don't you? You want me to cry while I'm blowing ganja smoke in your face on IG. No, I'm not gonna cry. Jez ain't gonna cry. TJ's not gonna cry. Don C, we're gunners, man. We ain't crying nothing. 4-0.
I'll be yelling.
My fucking prediction. I'm mad at Yeti now. 4-0. 4-0.
I'll be yelling. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, me too.
You guys, and after the match, I'm not doing a watch along on this channel. I might just be polluting other people's chats, but I will be live on Never a Foul after that for a panel show, and then I'll be live on Judge Mo tomorrow, and then the return of American Waffle on Staffy TV on Monday. And then Dal, I don't know. We'll talk about American Idiots next week because of Thanksgiving and all that jazz. We may have to run a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm off that Friday.
But yeah, perfect. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. We are going to, I don't even remember who I was going to redirect you guys to, but go over there and say TJ Warren TV. Oh, yeah, it's Wavy Timmy. Go over there and say Timmy. Say, come on, you Gunners. Wavy Timmy, TJ Warren TV raid. Until next time, guys. Come on, you Gunners. Please don't embarrass me. And thank you again, Yeti, for coming on.
No worries.
Later, guys.